Trump facing growing cultural revolt against immigration crackdown. Israel recovers last hostage body from Gaza, paving way for crossing to open. Putin praises Shara for momentum in restoring Syria's integrity. Iran unveils underwater missile tunnels amid tensions with U.S. Commonwealth (EU) to deploy large observer teams for Bangladesh election. A growing cultural backlash is emerging in the United States against President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown, spreading beyond political activists into business, entertainment, and public life. Several high-profile figures have publicly criticized the administration's enforcement actions. Musician Bruce Springsteen released a song condemning federal immigration agents. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman told staff that immigration and customs enforcement operations have gone too far. Lifestyle entrepreneur Martha Stewart warned that Americans now feel unsafe amid rising tensions. More than a year into Trump's second term, analysts say this widening cultural resistance could challenge his signature domestic policy and potentially affect Republican prospects in upcoming midterm elections. In response to mounting criticism, Trump has made leadership changes within border enforcement operations in Minnesota, where federal immigration actions have sparked protests and community unrest. However, thousands of federal agents remain deployed, and enforcement operations have expanded to additional states. Israel's military says it has recovered the remains of the last hostage held in Gaza, a development that fulfills a key condition in the first phase of a U.S.-backed plan to end the war. The remains of Israeli police officer Ran Gvela, held in Gaza for more than 840 days, have been identified and will be returned to his family for burial. Gveli was killed during the Hamas-led attack on Israel on October 7, 2023, and his body had remained in Gaza since then. Israeli officials say the recovery could now allow a limited reopening of the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt, the territory's main gateway to the outside world. A U.S.-backed Palestinian technocratic committee expected to administer Gaza has said the crossing could open this week, though Israeli authorities have not yet confirmed a date. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the recovery of Gveli's remains a major national achievement, describing him as a hero. Footage released by Israeli media showed soldiers at the recovery site in Gaza, while Gveli's family and the wider public marked the moment as one of emotional significance. Russian President Vladimir Putin has praised Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara for what he called growing progress toward restoring Syria's territorial integrity. During a meeting at the Kremlin, Putin congratulated Shara after Syrian government forces regained large areas previously held by Kurdish groups. He said the process of reuniting Syrian territory is now gaining momentum. Shara, making his second visit to Russia since removing former leader Bashar al-Assad last year, thanked Putin for Russia's support in stabilizing Syria and the wider region. The meeting highlights Moscow's ongoing effort to maintain influence in Syria, even after the change in leadership in Damascus. Iran has unveiled what it claims is a vast network of underwater missile tunnels packed with long-range cruise missiles, as it issues fresh warnings amid rising tensions with the United States. State television aired footage showing IRGC Navy Commander Ali Reza Tangsiri inside underground sea-based facilities lined with ready-to-launch missiles. He said the tunnels were built to target U.S. naval forces in the Gulf and the Sea of Oman. According to Tangsiri, the network holds hundreds of cruise missiles with ranges exceeding 1,000 kilometers. He highlighted a new missile, the Qadr 380L, which he said is capable of smart target tracking until impact. He added that Iran's military capabilities are expanding and that its forces are ready to confront threats at any level and in any location. Meanwhile, Iranian naval officials warned that the Strait of Hormuz, a critical route for global oil shipments, would not remain safe if Iran is attacked. The IRGC claims it has full control over the strait across air, sea, and underwater domains. The Commonwealth and the European Union are preparing to deploy major election observer missions to Bangladesh for its upcoming general election and referendum on February 12. The Commonwealth will send a 14-member observer group led by former Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo. The team includes experts in politics, law, media, gender, and election administration from across Commonwealth nations. Their role is to assess whether the election is conducted in a credible, transparent, and inclusive manner, in line with Bangladesh's laws and international commitments. Meanwhile, the European Union is launching one of its largest observation missions in the region. Around 200 observers from EU member states, along with representatives from Norway, Switzerland, and Canada, will take part. The mission is led by EU parliamentarian Ivars Ijabs. A core EU team has already been in Bangladesh since late December, analyzing legal, political, electoral, and media conditions. Long-term observers are now deployed across the country, with additional short-term observers arriving just before Election Day. Diplomatic staff and members of the European Parliament will also monitor voting, vote counting, and result tabulation.